Welcome back to ABC7 News at 7:30. Tonight our focus is on cybercrime and how it relates to schools across the country and students right here on the Sun Coast. Joining us this half hour is child crime expert Detective Richard Wistocki. Thanks for joining us, Detective.
Thanks for having me, Jacqueline.
So you've spent your entire career dedicated to this solely. So what have you seen when it comes to the dangers of children on the internet?
Well, with all this online learning and in their homes, kids are always trying to reach out for some type of social contact. If they can't get it at school, they're going to go into nefarious places online. Let me just give you an example out there. It's called Omegle. Omegle, when you sign into Omegle, it says talk to strangers right there. And every minute they're talking to somebody new. So it's really important for parents to understand what the rules are on how to watch their kids when it comes to their devices and their gaming platforms.
Wow. How do you think things have really changed over the years when it comes to child and cyber crimes? If you've been doing this for, several decades, I'm sure you've seen quite a change in the differences.
Right. So on a couple fronts. So what we try to do is that when I teach all over the country in schools, like before, I'm in like 150, 250 schools. This past year, I was only in 25 schools. The victims are getting younger and younger, which is a tragedy. So I was in 25 schools over this past year, and out of those 25 schools, 17 students came forward in telling me that they were being sextorted right when I was there. And 60% of those suspects are someone they go to school with or someone they know. 40% of those suspects is someone they met on a social network or a gaming platform.
Interesting. Okay, so you automatically think that these are perhaps child predators, lurking on these apps or some sort of social media platform. But a lot of this is actually happening within their own school and potentially their own classmates.
Yeah, it's so important for schools. I saw you had Lightspeed on earlier, and I vet programs, all of them that are worth vetting. And Lightspeed Systems, I saw it in your segment, but they didn't mention that they're an Apple educational partner, and that is huge because Apple allows an educational partner to monitor in real time. Now, you were talking earlier about handheld devices. Apple doesn't allow the monitoring of those handheld devices where there's real-time monitoring. There are other monitoring softwares that are out there that parents can use and get those alerts. It's so important to activate those alerts at school and on the personal devices because I recently have embarked on a collaboration with retired Chief Tony Pastizzi from Coral Springs, who unfortunately was at Parkland. And over the last 25 years, every single school shooter has posted what they wanted to do on social network, but local law enforcement didn't really know how to handle it. So Chief Tony and I are going to hit the circuit, and we're going to go out and train administrators, police officers, SROs, and families what they need to do in order to stop it before it happens.
Interesting. Okay, so we've talked about these school devices, and of course these school districts doing what they can on their front to curb some of these potential incidents from happening. But we mentioned these personal devices, and you said that Apple itself does not allow that. I believe you said on those personal handheld devices, but there are apps out there. What does that look like? And I mean, there's this constant battle between family members about what age children should get a phone. On one hand, you want your kids to be safe and be able to call you if they need to, but also that opens up a whole web of potential problems if they are to search something like what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, so there are some softwares out there like WebWatcher and Bark that will allow you to monitor monitor those devices. But here's what you have to recognize. So in TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, you have to be 13 in order to have those accounts, right? So when I go out and I teach in elementary schools, 4th and 5th graders, they're anywhere from 9 to 11 years old. So when I tell them you have to be 13, so they complain and they complain to their parents until your parents give in and say, the kids are saying, I want it because everybody else has it. And you let my older brother and sister, why can't I? And they give in. Now, let's face it, some of our kids are not the best mathematicians. mostly because of core math. But anyways, I digress. So what happens is when they have to go put in their date of birth, if they're born in 2010, do I go up with my date of birth? Do I go down my date? Oh, heck with it. I'm just going to put 2000. If I put 2000, I'll gain access. Well, Jacqueline, how old are they? How old are they then?
That
They're
would put
21,
them
right?
21. My sister was born in 2000.
Yes. So parents have to be checking those profiles
Yeah.
because with a profile of 21 and they're 11 years old, who do you think is going to come talk to them? Adults. Who's going to
Absolutely.
send them inappropriate pictures and videos? Adults. Who's going to ask them for nudes? Adults, because they're 21. So when I train law enforcement all over the country, I'm the one of the cyber trainers for the National Association of School Resource Officers, and this is what they deal with every single day. So when I train them, look, you can't just go on the profile. You have to have some chat and to show that this person knew that they were of this age. And so when I train them and I show them how to get the information in a timely manner to identify who the suspect is, because when it comes to gaming online and social networking, no one online is anonymous. Through our law enforcement investigations, we can actually find out who these people are.
Right.
My message to kids when I teach them is that no one has the right to make you do something you don't want to do or make you feel bad about yourself. If they do that, you can come to us and we can find out who it is to make that pain stop. So we have students getting red flags. We're training law enforcement on the alerts that they get. But we also have to train parents. You see, parents suffer from a disease. This disease is called the NMK syndrome. It's very deadly. It's called not my kid. So this disease, when parents go out there and they're thinking, my kid would never do that, that's exactly when you should check. You see, children have no access to those devices without the parent. Children own nothing until they're 18. I don't care if they went to Nana, Nonu, Tia, Tiu, Grandma, Grandpa, and they got their new iPhone 12 for their birthday. They don't own it. Parents allow you to have it. And the second biggest thing, Jacqueline, is that there's no such thing as privacy for your children. You are responsible for their child, not only for their food, clothing, shelter, and education, but you, the parent, are also responsible for their technology.
All right, Richard, thank you so much for all that. Some good tips, some good advice, and we'll love to have you back on some time later in the future to give us some more information on this front. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Have a good night.
You
We'll
too.
stay with us.